else. Like, they're not here. It's you and me.
Well, to get the atmosphere, I want everyone to know how it looks, feels, smells in here.
So we already adjusted everything, but at the same time, I'm going to be adjusting throughout because
whatever.
That's how I am.
So you missed it, but on the way here, I was driving down Jupiter Farms Road, and I know, so cute.
He's so sweet.
He's a clown. So some lady was mowing her lawn on a big property, nonetheless, with no one around, mowing her lawn on a John Deere mower with her mask on.
Oh my god.
I know.
What is wrong with people? I don't even care. Like, you do whatever you want, but at the same time, how dumb do you have to be?
I just hope the apocalypse happens soon, because it's like...
It needs to. Like, we're getting to that point where it's like, this needs to happen.
Yeah. I just want to... Every time I see something like that, I put another brick into my fallout shelter in my backyard, which doesn't exist, by the way, so... I'll invite you.
Me?
So, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, you don't eat much, so I could store a lot of food in my fallout shelter to be okay.
I'll bring my own food. I'll bring a cow in.
That's a good idea, actually.
I'm just gonna bring a cow into the fallout shelter.
We really need to go I know, hi Hank. We really need to go halves on a cow and like feed the dogs with it.
We do. So the best part about this is that that's my dog and this is her dog.
Well, and we also have 3 other dogs here. We're not crazy dog ladies, but it kind of looks like he's licking his,
Oh yeah, he's great.
Licking the junk.
Going great so far, guys.
So I just want to take a second really quick, and I'm not a religious person, and you know, you are, but I'm very not religious. But I just want to take a moment of silence for all of the beta males. I think that we should invite them into our homes and tie them up and strap them down and force them to watch Gran Torino. So, yeah, that'll be a good one. What was the story you were going to tell me the other day? You said there was, you had a moment. And it's not just jiu-jitsu related.
It's not a jiu-jitsu related story. I don't know if we want to get into that yet. Do we?
Yeah, go.
It's a guy story.
Just go with your guy story.
Okay.
Because I have a really good one that I've been wanting to tell you for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, I have to save it for the podcast because it's retarded. And you know, it's probably not going to be that funny, but when it happened, it was fun. It's like, oh, you had to be there. But yeah, go ahead. So tell me your
this
story.
is not going to be funny. This is going to be more like, oh my god, they allow you in public.
Yeah, or alive.
So this is back, I wish it was, I could say it was longer ago than it was, but it was actually pretty recently, like within the last 3 or 4 years. So I went to a local college to take a class, and it was right at the end of the semester. Everybody had their seat that they sat in every time, and everybody knew each other in the class.
No, I know.
And
so I know already.
No, you have no idea. So I opened the door one day, I'm a little bit early for class, and I look over, and sitting in my seat is the most beautiful Viking of a man. Like, if you put a fur coat on him and you put him in the show Vikings, he would blend, right? It's like massive, muscular tattoos. And long hair isn't always a thing for me, but if it's like Viking type, I'm down, right? So he has it kind of pulled or whatever, and so I walk in and I see this guy, and being who I am, I don't process it and go, oh, this guy must be auditing in our class or whatever. No, I walk in, I stop, my brain dies for a minute, and I'm staring at this man for entirely too long. And the entire class heard me come in, and so they all turn and look at me. And so they're looking at me, looking at him, and he's looking at me, looking at him, and we all know that this is awkward. And it takes me like 25 seconds to like break. It probably was like 4 seconds, but in my head it was like, 30 seconds or whatever. And I finally break, and I look around and realize I'm in the right classroom. This guy was auditing for the day, or was like making up a class, and so I had to sit next to him because that was the only other open seat. And so the entire class time, all I could think is every single person in this room knew that I walked in, saw the most beautiful man I've ever seen in person,
on your face,
and I just died inside and went like slack jawed at him. The worst part is he was
what kind of redneck uses the term slack jaw? All the pictures you go like this. And making that noise, which you made this morning when we were rolling, and everyone stopped rolling because I had you in the weirdest choke, and you start snoring while awake nonetheless. I'm like, I didn't knock her out because I don't even have the choke yet. I'm like, do I have the choke? And I got like excited thinking that I had the choke. So anyway,
yeah, she had. That was so bad. You had my esophagus mostly cut off, and then also my nose mostly cut off.
And your mouth is wide open. And
Your
you're
mouth
not
is
breathing
wide
through.
open.
She's like trying to breathe through her nose and her throat, oddly enough, but not her wide open mouth.
And I literally started snoring mid-roll, and everybody thought that I was knocked out and stopped to look and make sure I was okay.
Oh my god. So Viking guy.
That's it. That was the entire
So
story.
you just look like a ridiculous
I just
idiot.
look like a... Yeah, like an idiot.
I think that's happened probably 20 times in my life.
Yeah.
So
And he left and I never saw him again. Thank God.
Wait, he never came back to class? You're so awful that he left. He's like, I'm not doing
nothing to
this.
do with her.
She's a creep. Meanwhile, I have a video that I'm posting later of this weird, creepy guy in a white, like, total rapist van with marker, like that white, like, marker that teens use.
Is it the one on blue? No, it wouldn't be.
No, he's got it. He teaches this, like, this creepy old guy must teach swim lessons or something, and it's all this like horrible writing about if you don't teach your kids how to swim, they could die. Like, I just spit everywhere. I'm sorry, I do that. So like it's all this like weird marker and like sayings like your children could drown if you don't get them swim lessons, and like his like a little sign on the side of the van with like tinted windows, like blacked out windows and like rust on top of it, saying like, oh, swim lessons, call George. Blah, blah. I was like, any parent that calls that guy wants their child trafficked.
There's a van that's kind of near me, and it has on the side, it's like total creeper van, like 1980s guy. I've never seen him, but I feel like he looks like Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
And it says, stay 10 feet back at all times. So I'm thinking, man, I'm staying 50 feet away from your van.
Who shits that far? So my weird story that I wanted to tell you, I've been dying to tell you this for like 3 weeks, and we just got all the equipment, so now we can actually put it on the podcast. So when I was in college, I went to college for 2 years in Jacksonville, and my cousin, who's a massage therapist, no creeps please, lived in Gainesville, and I would go visit her on weekends. And I met this guy through my cousin, through her like group of friends, who was gorgeous nonetheless. Not my type anymore, but long black hair, Native American, green eyes, gorgeous guy. And you know, we were all a group of friends and everything, but there was a couple of friends that I hadn't met yet. And so he picks me up from my cousin's house when I get there. We'd started dating. I would visit like every weekend, every other weekend or so. And he picks me up from my cousin's house, and he's got a new friend sitting in the front seat. And so I like get into the back seat of his car. He had like some Lincoln Town car or something, some weird old car. And I'm thinking, okay, well that's kind of weird that like his friend was not polite enough to like let the girlfriend get in the front seat. But I was like, equality. So Howie,
Who are you yelling at?
who are you talking to? You haven't said a word all day. The dog's like barking to go out. So he picks me up from my cousin's house, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and we go to Taco Bell. This was back when I was skinny and I could eat fattening food and not worry about it. So he turns into Taco Bell, and he goes in the exit where it's a do not enter, and literally a car flies past us. We almost get hit, and I'm already freaked out because I don't like other people driving in general. I'm like a control freak about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Shocking.
This is me in anyone's car. And this is me on anyone's motorcycle. I don't do it. I can't.
You're like my mom. You do the passenger brake.
Panic. Oh, I
When
can't.
it's like a fake brake on your
And
side.
I've never been in an accident with anyone. I've been in an accident by myself, but I've never.
Yeah, because you suck at driving.
No, actually, somebody hit me. This was that's another story I'll tell later. So he picks me up. We go to Taco Bell. He goes in the out. Obviously, I'm dating the guy. So we almost get totally taken out by this other big truck that like is flying out the do not enter sign, do not enter area. And I was like, holy shit, Danny, what are you, blind? And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. We go to Taco Bell, we're safe, everything's fine. Quit. So we get to his house, and we all get out of the car, and he doesn't.
Come here, Howie. Come here. Talk to me.
Come here, Howie.
He's like,
He wants to be on the podcast. He's like, I was born for fame. Thank you.
He was sitting here. He was as I was setting up the lights, how I was setting them up, because I was basing them off of his shadow.
Yeah.
He's like, yes,
He's a wiener
It's
dog. You
me.
can't see him on camera, but we have a shadow of a wiener now, but technically it's a dog. So anyway, so we get back to the guy's house, and he doesn't come to let me out of the car. Like, I'm sitting in the back seat, and I don't care about chivalry at all. Usually I'm the one who's like, I'll piggyback you, I don't give a shit. Like, get a broken leg, let's go, fireman carry. And of course all the guys that I date are like 240 pounds and up. So, you know, I'm pretty butch about it. But he like lets the other guy to the car and like doesn't open the door for me. He like goes around, he like opens the door for his friend and like helps him out of the car. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe the guy just had surgery. He's fucking blind! Meanwhile, oh my god! 5 seconds ago, I was like, what are you fucking blind? Like yelling at my boyfriend. He's so blind. Terrible. And the funniest part about it, my cousin, you know, who's a massage therapist, met all her friends through massage school. He's a blind massage therapist, which is just the kind of the most genius thing ever. So, and we're back. We're back. The camera shut off. So.
And dogless.
Yeah, the dogs.
It's kind of sad. I don't know what to do with my hands now.
DD, we have disappearing dogs.
It's amazing.
Oh my god.
So let's talk about our competitions coming up.
Yeah, okay. So I lost 40 pounds recently.
She did.
So competing against the girls my size now, I almost feel bad because I feel like I'm competing against children.
Meanwhile, I'm on the other end of that. I roll with so many big guys. I was laughing this morning because you know when I pulled you forward and I was using knee shield and I like lifted you up and set you back down back. I almost chucked you across the room because I lifted and went to push and realized you're very light. I'm used to doing it with guys who are like 70 pounds bigger than you, and so I pushed and I was like, oh, there she goes, she's leaving.
I just like that today you finally was able to feel my full side control pressure because I've been so easy on you because you know you're still learning, you're still kind of brand new at it, and today I just kind of went ham. And she's like, oh shit. That's how our professor Natasha is. She's like the nicest person ever, the sweetest, you know, pretty blonde hair, everything. And she's like, murder.
Yeah, I got to go with her today, and it was the first time that I feel like I felt most of her side control pressure.
Yeah. And
it was like amazing. It was eye-opening for me because suddenly it went from, oh yeah, a little bit of side control pressure to, I think my eyes are gonna pop out of my head and I'm nearly getting blood choked from this. It was incredible, especially from like she's our size, you know. She's just like smallish female. It's not like it's one thing when like a guy who's 250 comes and like puts his weight on top of you.
Greg.
Yeah.
Hi Greg.
Hi Greg, what's up, man?
I was like, if I'm stuck under this guy and I can get out of it, I'm probably good with somebody my weight.
That was great. I felt so bad. Greg wasn't sure what was going on because he messaged me. He was like, hey, you laughed during our roll the other day and I wanted to make sure that I didn't do anything wrong.
We were laughing at you.
Yeah.
Bitch.
I felt so bad because he's such a good rolling partner, you know?
Yeah.
And like he tries to be very aware of what's going on and understands that he has like 60 pounds on us.
He's gonna weigh more than, if he has 60 pounds on us, then he just stop eating. I think he's like 280 or something.
Really?
Yeah, he's got more muscle than you think he does.
I think
He's
he's
like
very
6'5".
muscular. Okay, but see, yeah. Anyways.
We're going running tomorrow, by the way, so you're gonna see like my little legs and like his long legs.
So he was like, I want to be a good training partner. He's a great training partner. And I was like, no, so you don't understand. What happened was we started on our knees in a roll and I went to jump guard and I was expecting him to resist more. And he wasn't expecting me to jump guard. So I just end up throwing all of my body weight backwards and end up slamming my tailbone so hard into the ground. Like, you know where you hit your tailbone so hard that it's like,
You mean like you kneed me in the anus this morning?
I
Thanks.
did.
I
So
love
hard.
like cherry doing that. Thank you.
So I did that and I started laughing because it hurt. And I kept laughing because I looked over and I realized that you and our professor were staring right at me when I did it.
Well,
and knew exactly what
we
I
thought
did.
you went for like a flying armbar. I was like, why is she on her neck? I didn't know what happened. Like all we heard was clunk. I'm spitting on everything. I'm
Great
sorry.
fun.
I don't know. Sorry.
On me, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm used to it from jiu-jitsu.
Okay. I'm glad you said from jiu-jitsu.
I know, I feel like I needed that.
You were real quick with that shit.
I could see it when the look on
I'm
your
used to you
face.
spitting me. from jujitsu.
I can see the look in her face. You're like, if she pauses half a second, I'm running
Oh,
with this.
you know when my eyes get wide, I'm like, Abby says a lot of real weird, pervy things, and she doesn't even realize it.
It's all unintentional, though. That's the problem.
I know, it's
Like,
the
it's
worst
one
part.
thing if you're like, you say pervy stuff, but you intentionally do it. I'm just that dumb and I'm so unaware. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm saying most of the time when I speak.
Oh my god. So you're training a new horse now. Let's talk about that.
Training a new horse. She's very interesting. It's actually really cool because she reminds me a lot of one of my old horses that has since passed. He wasn't as squirrely as she is, but she's very sweet and she wants to please you. She's such a sweet bear. She just doesn't have a lot of handling.
Just wear a helmet. If you get bucked off and knocked out, which doesn't sound like horseback riding, but if you get bucked off and knocked out, I'm not gonna be. Next time if I try to choke you out in jiu-jitsu, people are gonna believe it's really happening.
As I'm over there snoring.
You're just gonna be like this all the time, but like permanently. I'll never know. You won't be able to verbally attack because I'll never know.
The only sound that comes out is
I get it. We're already there.
which is 90% of the sounds that I make. Like when you walked into the gym this morning, and we've gotten to the point where our friendship has devolved so much that we don't even speak to each other most of the time. We just make weird noises at each other.
That's kind of a new one. I'm gonna use that for now.
Gestures, though.
It's definitely the gesture.
That's the difference. Mine usually comes with a flop of some sort onto some piece of furniture, and yours
Or
is
like a knee in my. Okay. By the way, if I look like I have herpes, I don't. I have a weird bruise on my lip and all over my face because someone forgot to cut their nails 3 days in a row. And there's probably horse shit and her shit and everything else under her fingernails. Which you do have nice fingernails, by the way. I have like
Thank you.
I have like man fingernails, and I tried to,
I don't even know what that means. What is man?
they grow out like square and weird. And ever since I've been ingesting more protein, I'm sorry, I had to. No, my nails like grow like crazy, and I forget to clip them. And then one time I was rolling with some kid, and I accidentally I took a chunk of skin out of the inside of his ear. So ever since then, and that was like the first year or two of training, so ever since then I'm like, I have to clip my nails. But I did forget today, but I didn't get you the way that you got me. I got a big...
Oh, no. You went to grab my hand at some point, and you just like latched on with claws because you slipped.
Sorry.
Like you went for the grip and it slipped and it just like...
I tried to grab, to grab your hand, and all I hear is crack, 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 all of your fingers. But I cheat, so.
Dude, yeah.
I'm a cheater.
It was like when we were setting up for the side control pass today, or situational, and I just feel every time. See, the problem is I have an extremely long distance here to here. You don't.
Wait, but what is that? What's this bone called? I don't know what this bone is
It's like
called.
where my bicep is for anybody who can't see us.
This is a forearm. What is that? This is a femur. That's a forearm. That's a shin. What is that called?
I don't know. It's where my bicep
Humerus.
is.
No. Is that the humerus? No.
It's where your leg.
I don't know. I should probably learn like some sort of anatomy. I almost said biology. I should probably learn anatomy.
So, Margot, for those of you who can't see, Margot has a very short bicep, like from her shoulder to her elbow.
I was just saying how I'm like self-conscious about my biceps, and she's like, your biceps are great, and now we get on film and she's making fun of them. Thank you.
I got bigger biceps than you.
Do you really? Probably do.
Look at that. That's in muscle. This bruise is from you, by the way. Anyways, the point of this being, every time we're setting up for the side control pressure, I could feel you. You were like, and let's go! And your elbow's like fully in it. And I tried to do it, and my elbow gets caught in your hip because I'm so
You're
long
so
here.
long. Yeah. You are very long.
I'm way too long for my brain. Like, my brain thinks that I'm like
A short person.
5 foot tall with short little arms. My brain thinks I'm you, right?
Okay, that's. I'd actually be worried about that. If your brain thought you were me, then you're gonna need real serious help.
therapy.
Yes. And probably some medication and a little bit of dating advice.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I really need to get better at the clock joke. Because anytime anyone says, it's like a clock, and I'm like, do you even know how long it's been since I've been able to like tell time? Duncan, Oh my god.
There's no room
Duncan's,
for Duncan.
actually, Duncan in jiu-jitsu has really good pressure. He like...
Duncan also has a mouth larger than any human's face.
Yes. I call him Baby Forts.
Is there room?
Here he comes.
I think he's like,
Okay.
oh, thank
And
you.
the sack is always right in the middle. Go ahead, lay down, baby.
Literally say sack directly onto my shirt. I hope you know that.
Listen, if you knew how many times I got teabagged in my sleep by the dog. I just want to clarify that, but
Just clarification.
most of the time by the
Why
dog.
do you have to push into me? Push into her.
Alright, lay
She's a
down,
mom.
Papa. Lay down, Papa.
So we were talking about Gary Tonin and skilled violence before we got cut
Yeah.
off by
So
somebody at the door.
we're hoping if Abby can get her shit together, that she can post this, and then
I feel very attacked.
you should feel attacked by the balls.
I do feel attacked.
And we can post this podcast before the drawing is over for the little trip to Puerto Rico.
That would be so amazing. Like, I know I'm only a white belt, and so I know that there's probably higher belts wanting to get it too, but
Yeah.
it'd be so cool to be able to go down and train the
Vlog
two of us.
everything.
Yeah, we'd be able to video everything and like kind of just promote it and show some behind the scenes video. And also, San Juan in Puerto Rico is beautiful from all the pictures and everything that I've seen of it and heard about it. Obviously, I'm sure there's rough parts like there are everywhere, but
Yeah.
seems like there's some really beautiful places that you can see and really good food. I would love to go down and like do the jiu-jitsu thing, but also be able to experience a little bit, you know. I love traveling.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Actually,
Also, getting the absolute living shit beaten out of me by Gary Tonin
yeah.
is like, actually, I take that back. Let me restate that. Getting the absolute hell beaten out of me by anyone, any like black belt is always a great experience for me. I feel like every time I walk out and I'm like, oh, that'll be so cool when one day I can die slightly less fast.
Yeah. 12 seconds. Okay. I made it to 13 seconds. Sorry for crushing your face a little bit today.
We definitely have the dog breathing in here. I'm sorry for that, guys.
Oh, can you hear it in the mic?
Oh, you can hear that so loud because he's breathing directly into your mic.
Yes. People who are like listening
like
and not
the
watching the
king.
video is like, what's happening there?
Yeah, let me give the explanation for anybody who's not watching. We have multiple. We're surrounded by dogs. Duncan is a 150 pound Great Dane who is staring me down. He just teabagged me. That's what the jokes about teabagging were.
So for people not watching and actually just listening, they're like, she just got teabagged? I thought it was two women. Well, technically. Speaking of teabagging in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, I've had, it's with one guy too, and he knows exactly who he is.
Yes.
He has both teabagged me, and even though I don't have balls, I have teabagged him more than once. It's rough.
Yes.
We end up in the most weird places, because you know how some people end up in leg entanglements and stuff? We do that, but it's like whole body entanglement, but not in a good way, in like a, how did my limbs end up here, and how did your limbs end up there?
And especially when somebody has like a really specific game too, you kind of end up in very similar spots.
Yeah.
And one of our black belts forces me all the time to tap out by smacking his ass. He knows who he is. He swears that it's not on purpose, but it is. We know this. And weirdly, in the last year, nothing's changed. So,
although you do move a lot better.
Yeah.
It's amazing what, like your jiu-jitsu game, you become a different player. Obviously, I didn't know you before.
Yeah.
When you were rising.
But even the last year, you've seen
it's
different,
it's
especially
such
the
a
weight
difference.
loss.
Like, your pressure is better.
Yeah.
Weirdly, like it sounds counterintuitive, but jiu-jitsu people would understand that while losing weight sounds counterintuitive, well, you can't put as much weight on them, but pressure is a separate thing from weight.
Yeah.
Like our black belt, one of our black belts in our gym, she's a female, she's my size, she fights in my weight division and everything. And our weight division, we fight the same weight division, but she has some of the most insane pressure when she wants to, like more than some of the like 250 pound guys that I roll with. It's crazy. It's amazing.
He really is breathing into the microphone.
Yeah, Duncan, her Great Dane, is staring and breathing directly into a microphone.
He says, I want to be on camera. I know, baby. I just hope he doesn't get a boner. It might happen. Usually when he sits like this, that's when it happens. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got all these competitions coming up. It's
Yeah.
great. So we're basically, from the competitions that I have lined up, obviously waiting for some of them to open, but I'll pretty much be competing feather mold for the rest of the year, which is going to be rough. I'm not used to being in
It's good though.
competition shape. But the nice thing is, my thought is, once I get into competition shape, I'm just maintaining, you know?
Yeah.
Like, competition shape really isn't that different. It's, what are you doing? I would like to drop a couple pounds. I don't have to cut it all.
Yeah.
Like, just lose a little bit of fat, gain some muscle. But overall, I'm feeling great. I'm excited about it. I've been going back and forth. I've been a little bit nervous about competing. I've competed before, obviously. My first competition was 4 months in, and it was Pans last year. So
yeah.
Like, but it shouldn't be that freaked out by this.
It's good though, because when you just have a bunch lined up one after the other, you get into that mode, and you know, I haven't had time in the last year or two to do that, and now I have time to like really get into that mode of competing, you know, once every month or two. Oh, fine. I guess you love her more than you love me. Whatever. Well, look at this. Look at your dog. We're trading.
We're just trading dogs.
We're dog swingers. But yeah, so I'm doing 2, but I also think I wanted to sign up for Pans, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it because I think I want to do some of like the XFN fights and maybe like a fight to win if I can, you know, get into like real competition mode. And
why?
But I think I want to
in your mouth.
because he's interested.
Oh, there's so much spit.
Yep. Oh, here, bite.
No,
He's
I
not bite.
don't bite the mouth.
But I think I want to get down to like feather, and I want to stay at that until I get my brown belt and then get fat again. I'm just kidding.
We're just gonna do the same cycle over and over. You're gonna get your brown belt, and then you're gonna gain weight, and then you're gonna have to lose it, and then you're gonna get your black belt, and you're gonna gain weight, and then you're gonna lose it. It'll just be never ending.
Exactly, but my goal is to just be lighter than you.
I mean, it's not that hard. Have you seen the shoulders?
I know, that is true.
I've got the shoulders.
You're also a foot and a half taller than me.
I'm very tall.
Wait,
I've got
the
the
height on that. Oh shit, I'm still short.
I've got the shoulders of that a 260-pound male lumberjack would be jealous of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about muscle-wise or build-wise. I'm just talking about like how broad my shoulders are.
Yeah, and you have the jawline for it too.
I do not have a jawline.
You have a good jawline. It's very good. And I look like a transgender Danny DeVito.
You are.
You're more of a Viking Helen Hunt. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit lower in weight and compete at that weight, which sucks because some of the girls are real squirrely, but I'm getting my squirreliness back. When I first started, I was like that, and now, you know, then I got that brute strength. I have like that weird, like, thank you. I have like dad strength sometimes. It's really weird. So I'm glad that I still have maintained that, like with the weight loss and everything. And you know, I'm hoping to be able to use that to move better with technique and, you know, be able to do far more submissions and, you know, have better positions with being more limber.
Yeah.
So, and you're very limber, and you have the legs that.
I don't know. I would say I'm a limber.
You're pretty.
I can be forced into awkward positions. Oh
Can
yeah.
you not? This is public. Oh, it's weird now. You made it weird.
Except if somebody stacks me, like, you know those people that can they can put their knees behind their head. I'm not that person.
I'm cutting you off. This is not.
I did it in jiu-jitsu contest.
This is not OnlyFans. Cash us.
And by the way, going back to that, thank you so much to the people who have already sent us something. What are you doing, dude? For those of you who aren't watching, once again, if you hear us talking randomly that makes no sense in the context of the conversation, we're talking to the dogs. Duncan is kicking me in the face. We're trying to. Thank you to everybody who sent anything to us and helped us get our setup with our mics, stands, lights. Obviously, lights were donated to us, but
and definitely, you know, it's just for fun. So if you don't want to contribute, it doesn't matter. If you want to contribute to the podcast, everything we're doing is free. All of our content is free. Obviously, you guys have seen my horrifying Instagram posts. What the cash goes to is obviously our equipment. We need a few more things, but also we're going to be
to all the plastic surgery she needs. Do you see this face? Like, I don't want to have to look at this face for the next.
But do you see how like it doesn't move? That's the Botox. I'm smiling right now. This is me upset, and this is me like really happy. That's it. That's all you get. But it's also going to go to like some of our shenanigans. Like we obviously make time for all the other things that we do and all of our like, you know, side hustles and getting golf carts in the hood and buying RVs from crackheads so that we can refinish them. It's so much fun. Always buy from a crackhead. because they have expensive shit that's probably stolen, but who cares? And they can't wait to get rid of it, so it's usually cheap, and then you can flip it for a lot more.
For the record, she's not talking about buying crack from a crackhead.
Oh, I probably should have specified that. Yeah, when you're side hustling and you're buying cars and motorcycles and stuff to fix it up